So it's finally here, our first episode of the Pray for Campus podcast, hosted by me, Patrick Keene. I'm on staff with a missions organization named Crew that is all over the world. And of all the places that I could go, I'm on a campus in America, in Kentucky, called Morehead State University. And after nearly a decade of ministry, we've seen God do amazing things. And this summer, I was kind of reflecting on how to best share that with the partners that really keep our feet on the ground through their prayers and through their financial giving. And we're still sending hard copy prayer letters, which is great because I think some people actually still read those. But as I was thinking, what is the state of 2023? How are people actually getting their content and their encouragement? And I think it's through podcasts. I think it may be through videos, even though I don't know if I want to make a ton of videos. I know it's through social media. So this summer, Kelly and I have been figuring out how to package our ministry in a way that keeps the vision out in front of people that we care a ton about. I came on staff to reach college students. That's my goal. And I think about the content we're going to be putting out. I'm thinking about how can I serve people who graduated on mission that care about what God's doing on the college campus. So through these podcast episodes, at least monthly, and then I think I want to throw a few more extra in there too. I really expect to have people be encouraged for what God's doing, but also be cultivated in how they can be praying for the world, getting in the Word, some things that God's doing in and through my life, things that God's teaching me with my family. So when I say connecting you to the generation that will finish the Great Commission, I 100% mean that. So many people they care about college students, but they find themselves separated from what God's doing. And through this podcast, through this email newsletter, through our social media, I pray that we can do a heart transplant where we can transplant your heart onto the college campus, because I really believe that college students are probably the most strategic demographic to focus time and energy into to see the Great Commission get finished. I'm currently reading for the second time this book, Shane Sebastian, This Changes Everything, and he made a quote here. Actually, let me find it. Young people make great missionaries. And I totally believe that. With Crew, our mission is to win students to Christ, build them up in their faith, and then send them out to have a mission of their own. Now, I understand not every student is going to come on Crew staff. Not every student is going to get to the 1040 window to be a missionary, but we're graduating teachers, and we're graduating lawyers, and we're graduating doctors, and insert the thing, and we're sending out missionaries, 100% sent, where people have different job descriptions, but the same mission and vision to see disciples made all over the world. So I feel like on the college campus, we can really catch some of these most strategic students in a bottleneck where there's political leaders, social leaders, business leaders in one spot at one time. And that's why I love our ministry so much, and the Lord has not called me out of this ministry just yet, and I will continue to be here until He does. And can I say this podcast is actually a little bit selfish on my part, because I'm so passionate about what God is doing, but I know that prayer is the fuel in the tank that is actually going to cause something really cool to happen, that cause all the cool things to happen. And actually, I'm drawn to Luke 11, where Jesus tells a story of a friend who has someone come and visit late at night, but he's out of bread, and he runs to his neighbor and he knocks on the door because he has to borrow bread to serve to his friend. And that friend says, "Don't bother me, go to bed." And he just keeps knocking. And Jesus goes on to say this, "But I tell you this though, he won't do it for friendship's sake. If you keep knocking long enough, he will get up and he will give you whatever you need because of your shameless persistence. And so I tell you, keep on asking and you will receive what you ask for." This is in regards to prayer, and I love that phrase, shameless persistence. My goal in this podcast, my goal in this email newsletter, my goal in being more forthright on social media is that you can go to an eternal God in shameless persistence on my behalf, because I totally need it. I need prayers for my ministry. I need prayers for my family. I need prayers for me personally. So as I put myself out here in this podcast and in those other outlets, I pray that you can really join the journey. And this is a great time to do it. This is the beginning of it all. So with this podcast, what you can expect: a periodic podcast where you can be encouraged about what God's doing, an email newsletter to help cultivate your heart, sometimes with a video attached to that, and then monthly updates of what God is doing in and through our ministry. So stay tuned for more. Subscribe to this podcast and follow us on social media.